the boy Jeameave back again with Views from the Heart. I hope you're having a blessed day. And today I have a 2018 Camaro ZL1, courtesy of Martin Chevrolet. Thank you guys so much once again for this opportunity. It's the same exact engine that's in the Corvette Z06 with a $30,000 price difference, more or less. So let's go ahead and see. What the? Alright, I appreciate you. You can make it.
Yeah, you know, any means necessary. What was that?
For my faithful people may recognize my brother Tony here. The very first video was a Camaro SS 2018 Redline. So of course, unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring him along with the Z06 because, you know, it's only a two-seater. And you know, I got my boy Samuel in the back right here. You can't see him right now.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to do some kind of like a heritage video and bring my boy back and my brother for life. And obviously, what better way to do it than bring it back in kind of the bigger brother, the very first video that we did. Let's go ahead and see what this bad boy is all about because I'm dying to drive it. Let's go. What's going on, you guys? So what's this like driving the 2018 Camaro ZL1, courtesy of Martin Chevrolet? Once again, thank you guys so much. Got my brother Max sitting with the shotgun. I got my boy Samuel sitting behind me. I don't know how this man's sitting behind her. I apologize because there's absolutely no headroom for him back there. But the Camaro Z1 is powered by the same 6.2 liter LT4 Supercharged V8 that has a 1.7 liter Eaton supercharger strapped on top of it, producing 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. The main difference between this and the Z06 is the fact that, well, it realistically has around the range of a $30,000 price difference between a fully loaded Z06 and a ZL1 Camaro. I love the look of the Camaro, but again, one of the main differences just driving this immediately is the fact that there is little to no visibility in here. It's really hard to see out of this car. I really can't see behind me, but what in this car though? But as you guys can see, oh, this car, it feels really good though. It honestly feels really good. Obviously I'm in track mode right now, and I just had to give you guys just a little taste as to what this this engine can do and what it's capable of. And obviously, as you guys can see, it's capable of a lot, to say the least. Hey Sam, how you feeling back there, Sam?
Headroom. It's not so great, man. I bet like in another 10 minutes I might get a
hernia back there. Used to be looking around like this.
Yeah, I'm dead.
But
I'm dead, but I'm alive.
It's gonna feel alive right now. But like I said, the only reason why I did that is because I wanted to try and convey to you guys just the massive power that's within this vehicle. The curb weight of this vehicle is around 3,800 pounds, so it's still not as light as the Z06, but it still feels incredible. But overall, like I said, the main thing, it's hard for me to say this because I love how this car looks, and it does feel great to drive. It's giving me enough transient feedback through the steering wheel, especially in track mode. The steering is very stiff, the car is very stiff. It is a great handling and great driving car, but I can't see out of it. Like, I honestly, it's hard for me to see. And yes, I've driven a Camaro before, but overall, that is just that's the biggest negative to me. Is like, I can't really see this being an everyday car as I could the Z06. It kind of defeats the purpose in a bit. But I can respect the people that do this car because, like I said, you save about $30,000. It's the same exact engine that's within the Z06, which is incredible. But overall, I'm not the biggest fan. The interior is up to par, don't get me wrong, but the Z06 you definitely do see kind of a little bit of a step up. But the interior overall is not bad. You know, I'm sitting in Recaro seats. It fits me very snug. Obviously, I'm not the biggest person. I'm more of a slender build. But if you're heavier set, you might feel very uncomfortable in these seats, to be honest, because it fits me very nice. It feels like it was made for this kind of body type that I have. But if you're on the heavier side, you might run into some comfortability issues, to say the least.
Unless you get customs.
But overall, as far as the interior goes, the back seats honestly are pretty much useless. as explained with my guy Samu in the back from Martin Chevrolet.
Yeah.
It's only be about a 10-15 minute thing.
Look at that headroom, guys. I thought I was playing. That headroom is something serious, bro.
What about to dislocate a disc back there? But overall, like I said, the back seats just, which it doesn't really make sense to me, because in my mind I'm like, okay, Chevy wants a car that can sit 2+2, but yet they completely neglected the back seats. Like they did zero care about who sits in the back. So to me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, why not just add a Z06? Because overall, the visibility outside of it was. I'm sorry, you just look so uncomfortable. I apologize, Sam. I honestly do. But I can see out of the Z06 so much better. But it's incredible because, like I said, it's still the same engine. It still feels just as fast, even though it weighs about 300 pounds more than the Z06. There is unfortunately no sunroof in this specific one. I don't know if can the Z1 come with a sunroof? It may or may not, but like I said, it still feels great. Even though, like I said, I feel like even in track mode, the Z06 was a little bit more comfortable than this car per se, but it's still just so enjoyable. And another key difference that I noticed between the Z01 and the Z06 is it's a lot quieter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just me, but compared to the Z06, it just seems like the exhaust system that they put on this one was just more subdued. Like there's a whole 650 horsepower beast laying under this hood.
600 horsepower savage.
But yet it's not really speaking to me. I'm not really hearing it. I mean, obviously you can hear when I step on the gas. Let me put it in neutral real quick. Give you a quick little rev. You can hear it there. But overall, the Z06, you just hear the nice little burble, just a lot more present to me in my personal opinion. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you know, you don't, sometimes when your car is a little bit too loud, you attract the wrong attention.
Yeah, and that's what
those red and blue lights, you know, that butt cheeks clenched maximum.
Wait, what?
But overall, this is honestly just an incredible car, and I would honestly recommend anyone that can afford this to get it. And if this is well within your budget, because like I said, this isn't a cheap car, but it's definitely more doable than a loaded Z06. Got that bump right there, I apologize. I saw that at the last second.
Whole camera almost went through the window.
But overall, Tony, what are your thoughts so far?
Oh no, I love it.
What do you think?
There's nothing, to be honest. Oh, I've been meaning to say this. Remember, I told you guys if I ever do another Camaro review, for the simple fact that I couldn't
Didn't have much headroom.
Yeah.
The seat is as low as it can be, and there's still not much headroom for him.
It's not, and I highly. Sam, how much? What's your height looking like?
5'10".
5'10".
5'10", 5'11".
Look, that's 5'10". That's what 5'10" is getting us, guys.
I just sit sideways, you know.
We could do a little better, guys.
Granted though, the rear headroom is significantly worse than the front.
Oh no, it is. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can actually lower my seat if I want to. I know Sam in the back don't get that luxury. We need to start taking care of our backseat people, guys. We need to start taking care of our backseat
Sam,
people.
do you remember in the Z06, how was the headroom for you there? Like, you know, it was great, right? Yeah, like, I feel like the Camaro just isn't really made with the mind of very tall people.
But you are looking at a $40,000 difference from Camaro. This
true, realistically, yes. But again, if you're tall and you want to be comfortable, let me say this again, comfortable on a day in day out basis, not your weekend car that you can deal with for like an hour of just, you know, cruising, carving up the roads. If you want to be comfortable, this Z06 would be the way to go. Fortunately for me, being of a smaller stature, I can fit in both easily, so it doesn't really bother me. But like I said, the biggest impedance with this car for me is the fact that I'm still not used to seeing out of it. Like realistically, I love to see behind me, and the visibility is just that much worse than the Z06. I can see out of the Z06 completely fine, and like I said, that was the first car that I ever jumped into, and I felt as comfortable as I would in my own car immediately. In here, I'm still comfortable, as you guys can see with me taking off like that, but it's still, sometimes I come across the car, I'm like, am I gonna make it? I'm not gonna make it. You know, that's how I feel in this car sometimes. Whereas the Z06, I felt like as if it was my own. I just felt comfortable in there.
Well, if you feel like you're not gonna make it, don't do it.
Oh no, I'm just saying that's how I would feel. I'm not saying I felt like that recently, but it's kind of hard to see out of this car overall. But it's still a great and enjoyable car. Like, to be honest, I would love to have something like this.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice, I would choose the Z06 10 out of 10 times. That's just me personally. Again, I love how the Camaro looks. I think it's a stellar design. This is this iteration, this facelift version, this generation of the Camaro, I really love, because Tony can tell you, every time I see Camaro, I always used to hate how they look. But now I did them a lot more respect, especially the Z01s, because I know what they're capable of. The SS, you still did the stand for me, so so you guys, you know, you still got your respect for me, but just know you're gonna lose every time you line up next to me, if you're stock, anyway. Hey. But overall, though, the Z01, the Z06, even the Grand Sport, and like I said, even the SS, they demand respect, and obviously the LT4 demands respect, just in general. It is a fantastic power plant. The response to this engine is immediate. There is no lapse in power from the moment you put your foot. You can put your pinky toe on this car and just press it, just ever so slightly, and this car will take off. And that's insane. That's honestly incredible to think about how responsive this car is and how fun it is. Even when we're driving in mundane traffic like this, excuse me, my fault. Even when we're driving in mundane traffic like this, it still feels like a fun car. It feels like a race car. And like I said, the fact that it feels like a race car means that it's at the expense of other occupants, like my boy Samson in the back there, which looks ever so uncomfortable back there. Again, I apologize profusely for this. But overall, I do love this car. I do enjoy it. But like I said, I say that with the caveat being that although I do love this car, knowing that the Z06 Corvette exists, I would choose the C7 Z06.
10 out of 10 times? 10
out of 10 times. Personally. That's just me, though. I can't speak for everyone. But like I said, it feels so similar. It feels so similar that honestly, there is no wrong choice. It really comes up to personal preference on what you can afford. And I'm praying that this person gives me some space.
No, bro,
no, I know. But damn, man. But overall, like I said, this car just feels so good and so much fun. Just straight driving it. There's very little, if anything, to complain about in this car. Oh, now you want to move over? But overall, again, like I said, and put on that point of emphasis is that there is very little to complain about with this car, other than for me personally, the fact that is obviously the visibility. That is, I'm gonna keep on reading that this is the biggest negative point to me with this car. And if I were to choose as to what car I would live with for an extended period of time as either a daily driver, even if it's a fun car, the visibility for me is not good enough. And yes, it's something you probably get used to in things of that nature. But overall, the Z06 was just a much more comfortable car for me to drive. And that's just how I personally feel. Again, it's not a bad car. And it feels really close to the Z06, don't get me wrong. So like I said, this is the best bang for the buck car you can honestly get between power, looks, and just straight out performance. Like, it just feels... Power. Jesus, man. That whiplash, like literally, if you're not paying attention and someone's not paying attention and you accelerate, you can knock someone out in this car, honestly. Do you know what a stop sign is, fam?
Nah.
Jesus.
Nah,
Oh my God, Sam, did you see that?
Test the insurance again?
Yeah. People out here must have really good insurance, and that's why I always, when I'm driving, I never trust anyone on the road. I never give anyone that's driving the benefit of the doubt. I'm always watching and seeing what people are doing. Because just like that was a clear stop sign.
Right.
That car ran before her.
What you doing?
And this person just reversing.
That's a $1 million car right there.
But overall, again, like I said, this car is Maserati. Man, just look look at that view though. You see that? That's just a nice blue ocean sky over there.
For the one thing, like, we have to work on in our relationship is driving, bro. You have to let me give me a heads up when you gonna gas it. Like,
But that's the best part though.
No, I know, but you really gonna give me whiplash.
Just listen to that. And I'm not downsizing on that, hitting the paddles or anything. This is this car doing it by itself.
You gonna be mad as hell when I'm gonna fly.
Just go to sleep.
You gonna see the footage. The camera's just hitting the bottom of the,
like I said, this is my second time experiencing this engine. Tony, how does this car feel for you, being your first time being in a car this fast?
To be honest, like how you, I know we're gonna get into argument about this later, but how you say you'll go with the ZL6 10 times out of 10?
Yeah, but you haven't been in the ZL6 either.
I know.
And like I said, I love the way this car looks.
But that's what I'm saying. This probably has to be my go-to car right now. Only because I'm not even just for the you know, people just get cars to look at them, you know, how not look at them, but how they look. But being inside this and
like I said, it feels great. The interior does feel up to par. I'm actually really impressed with the way
red accents too.
The red accents, the suede on the important parts, the leather on the door panels where you rest your hands. It feels like a really well put together car.
The infotainment system
center is nice. It's very responsive. Look at that. Clear, crystal clear. There is nothing you reasonably need to worry about with this car. Like I said, unfortunately, I just wish the fact that unfortunately I'm stuck in traffic and I've only had a few pulls here and there. But overall, these engines, the LT4, the ZL1 and the ZL6 are the kind of cars that it makes you just want to drive fast even when you shouldn't. Yeah. Especially when you shouldn't. Yeah. Because it's like I said, it's so easily accessible. It's not a turbo, it's a supercharged car. The power is so instant and immediate. There is no nook or cranny traffic that you don't feel comfortable enough that you can get into. You see a space, you put your foot down, you know you're getting there. That's how fast this car reacts, and that's incredible to me. It's so instantaneous, and that's an incredible feeling.
You say the reaction time was better than the SS that we did?
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah. There's no comparison. Like don't get me wrong, the SS is not a bad car, but what I really hate about the SS was the paddle shifter response. It was deplorable. It was really, that was the main crux of that car, was the transmission just didn't feel up to par. It does have paddle shifters, but at the same time, like I said, it feels so good. It feels like a whole different league compared to the SS, and that's honestly what it should feel like, because this commands a definite premium over a loaded SS. But I would say it's worth honestly every penny, because again, I can honestly confidently say I don't think that there is a better pound for pound performance wise, looks, combination of interior and money wise, if there's a better package than this in the market today. I consider honestly saying, confidently say that there is no better package. You get 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, a great looking car. We've had several people just from the gas station alone come up to say what a great looking car. Just ask Sam, we've had at least 10 different people in a span of an hour come up to us. This car attracts attention in the best way possible. People don't necessarily know what a ZL1 is, but you just look at this car and you know that this is a great looking car. Yeah. It truly and honestly is. And if you're into that kind of attention, then by all means, this is a fantastic car for you. But like I said, what I'm gonna leave you guys with is possibly one final pull, and we're headed right back to Martin Chevrolet. And once again, thank you so much, Lewis. Thank you, Sam, for your time, because I know time is money for you.
Sam.
So, but like I said, if you guys are looking for any sort of Chevrolet, please come down to Martin Chevrolet. They have great, fantastic deals. Hit up my boy Samuel sitting with me in the back. Unfortunately, by the time he gets out of here, he's probably gonna look like Squidward or something. But overall, my closing thoughts is, it's an amazing car. It's the best package you could possibly buy for the money. And I would love to have something like this, but like I said, if I had a choice between the ZL6 and the ZL1, I would choose the ZL6 personally. You read it from Mac that he would choose the ZL1, but he hasn't been in the ZL6 yet. But he hasn't been in it since yet.
I'm gonna get in. It might change my mind. It
might.
That's one thing about having an open mind, people. You know, you
experience things, exactly. Experience life and what life has to offer.
Right.
And just take some time to know people.
Right.
Cars are no different. People are no different. Nothing else is different in life. Just experience it. That way you can understand and see other people's different perspectives, because that's what life is all about. Living and learning and not staying stagnant, because every day you should be learning at least something new. Because at that point you're just existing and you're not living.
You're just breathing. And
the whole point of my channel, and for me in general, is so I could influence people positively and impact people in a positive manner. And that's why this channel is called Views from the Heart. So with that said, I believe I covered everything about this car. Again, just to reiterate, it's a fantastic car. I love the interior. I love the way it looks. I just don't really like the driving dynamics in terms of the visibility. The handling is great. It's an extremely fun car. And if you're in the market, it would behoove you to look into something like this, because I don't know if there's a better car. It may not have your Italian flair, but who cares? Because I guarantee you, any car that lines up next to this, you're probably at least 9 out of 10 times gonna smoke them. And that's and that's the guy you don't want to do that. You can never be faster than the radio. But at the end of the day, this is an amazing car, and thank you so much to Martin Chevrolet. Again, this is the boy Jeameave,
your boy Mac,
with Views from the Heart. And although Tony's my brother's in this one, he may not be able to be in everyone, because like I said, and what we expressed was the fact that his school schedule tends to conflict with the way I shoot the cars. But again, the main purpose of this was to introduce him again and give a little heritage video, considering how far we come along, going from an SS to our first video to now a ZL1.
Not our last video either.
Not our last video.
Y'all gonna see more of me. I just, like you said, I conflict with my school. But
like I said, it's just building blocks, and I appreciate each and every one of you that watch so much, because it's people like you that push me to be better, and a better person, and a better version of myself every single day. So with that said, this video is coming to a close. Thank you so much. This is Views from the Heart. It's your boy Jeameave, your boy Mac, and we out of here.
Yes, sir.